Hello everyone, back tuning into our latest update for the United States. So we're going to have a look at weather next 10 to 14 days for America and see what's going on. Looks like a big cool down is on the way for northern parts of the states in the week to 10 day time frame. And we'll cover that very shortly. It's going to begin in the tropical Atlantic. There's a disturbance area that we're keeping a close eye on. So more about all of that very shortly. Just say that if you're enjoying the USA forecast at GavsWeatherVids, then please give us a like on the video and let us know in the comments what you think. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. These are YouTube exclusives. I'm not embedded to GavsWeatherVids.com, the website. So you'll need to subscribe and click all notifications so that you're notified when we are releasing these videos on a Monday and on a Thursday too. Okay, so we're going to begin in the tropical Atlantic. We've got this orange disturbance area just here. Let's see what National Hurricane Center saying about that one. It is disturbance 1 with a 60% chance of cyclone formation in the next 48 hours. They're saying showers and thunderstorms associated with a tropical wave and broad area of low pressure located about 600 miles west-southwest of the Cape Verde Islands has changed little in organisation since yesterday. Environmental conditions are expected to be somewhat conducive for development to occur, and a tropical depression could form during the next day or two, while the disturbance moves generally westward to west-northwestwards at 10 to 15 miles per hour across the tropical Atlantic. Conditions are forecast to become less favourable later on in the week, so the system is going to do something a little bit like that. And yeah, we shall have to keep an eye on what this disturbance area is doing in the coming days. Here's the latest wind flow chart from earthnullschool.net across the tropical Atlantic. Excuse me. So you can see that we have got easterly winds blowing across the tropical Atlantic. And there does seem to be something of a convergence area going on just here. So this could be a development region over the coming few days. We shall have to wait and see. These are 500 millibar high quantity flow charts from Penn State University for the next 7 to 10 days. So this takes us to around the 20th. Around the 20th of August. So we've got the ECMWF here on the left of the screen. You're looking at it, the GFS is over on the right. So 500 millibars in there, that's high pressure, low pressure, are being moved around by the jet stream. Red extrapolates high pressure, blue to low pressure. You can see it with the ECM. We are bringing a trough of low pressure into northern parts of the United States, and we're digging the jet stream southwards with that trough of low pressure as well. That will allow much cooler air to move out of Canada into the Midwest and also into northern parts of America. So yeah, quite a cool down on the way in the 7 to 10 day time frame in those areas. So as we push back further westwards, we've got a ridge over towards the Pacific coast. So there's a ridge of high pressure there up to the northwest. There's a trough of low pressure coming in off the Pacific into the northwestern part of the Pacific Ocean. So yeah, quite a complicated scene, but essentially what the main thing to focus on is the trough low pressure digging into northern parts of the states, where it will be turning quite a lot cooler for a while anyway. GFS is similar, but not making as much of that trough of low pressure, really. But nevertheless, I think the jet stream is moving south a little bit with the GFS, but not to the same degree as the ECM is showing. These are the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles next couple of weeks for Chicago. So red line is 30-year upper air temperature average for Chicago. We're starting off pretty warm to hot at the moment. Temperatures are above average for the next few days. But as we go into like the sort of day 7, 8, 9, 10 time frame, we do see that the upper air temperatures are lowering. So that's the cool air being pulled in out of Canada there between around, say, the 16th and the 20th of August. After that, going into the last stage of the month, maybe showing signs of a bit of warm up. Plenty of rainfall to come as well. Going to be heavy showers and thunderstorms to come for Chicago in the next few days while it's pretty hot. And then we have a cool down, of course, and that will involve thunderstorms as well. And then more rainfall coming up late on into August as well, into the last week of the month. Temperature anomalies on the 10th to the 18th of August, generally warmer than average across most parts of America. Any cool down is going to be more for sort of days 7, 8, 9, 10. So for a weekly anomaly, this is still warmer than average, particularly so out in the west. But also those northern and eastern states are warmer than average as well. Precipitation anomalies look very significantly drier than average across the western part of America under high pressure. Over on the eastern side, it is wetter than average, especially in the southeastern corner, but generally it looks a little bit more unsettled in the east. Of course, got that trough of low pressure with time that's developing in northern parts of the states. Excuse me once again. So this is how the GFS is looking for today. So generally it's quite hot across many parts of America today, but we are trying to bring some cooler air into the very, very far north of Canada. As the upper air temperature shown that generally it is a hot scene through most parts of the states from the west coast over to the east coast. Now, as we go through, of course, of this week, we're going to keep things pretty hot initially, and we have very slack gradients through those central east areas. So that will allow more thunderstorms to develop through the middle part of the week. In the second half of the week, we've got a ridge of high pressure developing here up towards eastern parts of Canada, but at the same time, a trough of low pressure is beginning to dig into the west of the Midwest from the north. This trough of low pressure can start to act as the trigger to pull some cooler air in from Canada. Still pretty hot across most parts of the states up to Friday. And as we go into the weekend, this weather change really starts to take place as this area of low pressure begins to develop to the northeast. We start to pull in these cooler winds from the north. Once again, here's the upper air temperatures showing that cool air is moving out of Canada into northern parts of America. Definite cool down is on the way, and that sort of accelerates then as we go into towards day 10. So from day 10 we start to bring a ridge down from Canada, but on the cool side of this ridge across particularly eastern, central and eastern parts of America, we are pulling in a much cooler northerly wind. Heading up towards day 10, high pressure begins to establish through the east and the northeast, but that will be within much cooler temperatures. So yeah, a proper old cool down is on the way for those northern and northeastern parts of states as we get up towards day 10. Those upper air temperatures look cooler than they have done for a very, very long time. Meanwhile, out in the west, it still looks very, very hot through these western parts of America, except in the Pacific Northwest, where, as always, it's a lot cooler. Now, as we move beyond day 10, we take that ridge away to the east, and so that allows hotter air to start pushing up from the south once again. So we start to move hotter air up from the south once again as we move into the final week of August. As the upper air temperatures show the heat beginning to push back northwards again, or pushing back northwards again, as we go into the final week of August. As far as we go with GFS is to Wednesday, the 26th of August. This is how the ECM is looking. So again, we find that at the moment it's still pretty hot scene across most parts of America. Any cool air is restricted like to the far north of America along the Canadian border. Generally, most parts of the states are looking pretty hot at the moment. We keep these hot temperatures going through the rest of the week as well. Into weekend, though, we start to generate this area of low pressure. The ECM does make a little bit more of this area of low pressure around the Great Lakes and up into the north of the states. So it makes a little bit more of it. We saw it on a 500 millibar height anomaly from Penn State University. This will bring really trench rain and thunderstorms to particularly the north of the Midwest and up towards the Great Lakes. Initially, there's a push of heat on the east side of America, but you see cooler air is beginning to get pulled in on the western side of that trough of low pressure. Very hot, of course, out in the west, as you would expect in August. And then that trough of low pressure sort of progresses eastwards in towards northeastern parts of the states and up into eastern Canada. And yes, we are definitely pulling in much cooler air to those northern and eastern parts of America with that trough of low pressure. A ridge then begins to form as the low clears through, so it'll settle down, but it will be quite cool under that ridge. You can see from the upper air temperatures, again, they really have been pulled down a lot by the time we get through to day 10. Thursday, 20th of August. They really have been pulled down a lot in these northern and northeast states. But meanwhile, out in the west, it remains very, very hot through those western parts of America. And if we could go on any further, which we can't with the ECM, but if we could, I suspect we'll find this ridge beginning to drift eastwards and start to allow hotter air to push back up from the south again across those midwestern and eastern parts of the states. The South FSV2 is looking to be surviving to a bit of our heights, breaking down into week periods. The first week period taking us from the 10th to the 16th of August. So the coming week has this ridge still sitting in the northeast. So for the next few days, it remains pretty hot, really, across most parts of America. There is a cooler sort of trough of low pressure that's digging into the northwest. But generally, it's still a hot scene for the weekend across many parts of the states. We get through into week 2, which takes us from the 17th to 23rd of August. And this ridge is moving further northeast. That's allowing the jet stream to come a little bit further southwards, maybe suggesting a little bit of a cool down taking place then. Week 3 is going to be the 24th of August to 30th. Just a weak ridge up towards the northeast, otherwise very slack gradients, probably suggesting a lot of thunderstorms breaking out. And go through into week 4, which is the 31st of August, 6th of September. Again, quite a weak ridge here, so quite a weak ridge, but overall quite slack gradients again, and it's probably suggestive of quite a lot of thunder breaking out. This is how the temperatures are looking. So in the weekend it is hot again through many of these northern and eastern parts and midwestern parts of the states. Cooler up to the northwest, but generally still hot week to come from the 10th to the 16th of August. Cooler though as we go into week 2. So this is 17th, 23rd of August, as we see, like those breadbasket states and through the Midwest, and to some degree pushing over towards the far eastern side of the states, cooling down quite a bit. At the same time, it's warming up though towards the northwest. It still looks pretty hot actually in the extreme northeast. Those southern states also quite warm, but definitely a cool down in those midwestern to eastern states for a while anyway in week 2, which is 17th, 23rd of August. Week 3 starts to warm things up again. So yes, the state's generally becoming warmer than average in most areas from the 24th to the 30th of August. And then we go through to week 4, and that also looks pretty hot across many parts of America. This is the 31st of August, 6th of September. Again, it's a little bit cooler in this extreme northwestern corner, but overall pretty hot through most of these states, like West Coast over to the East Coast, and most states in between looking quite hot. So any cool down that takes place in the second week is probably quite temporary, and then the heat comes back again later on in the month. Rainfall wise, looking like this. Precipitation wise, week 1, 10th to the 16th of August, wetter than average in the northeast, drier than average for many of those southern states. Go through to week 2, which is 17th, 23rd of August. So it goes drier than average in the northeast, wetter than average in the southeastern corner, near normal rainfall out in the west. Week 3 is the 24th to the 30th of August. Again, looking wet in the southeastern corner, drier in the northeast. Those western states generally looking quite dry. And then we go through into week 4, which is 31st of August, 6th of September. And yes, it's going dry on average through those midwestern and some eastern states. It's a little bit wetter up to the north, and the south is also looking rather wet, particularly around the Gulf of Mexico, which Florida and most of the areas, which of course could be indicative of some tropical developments. We'll have to wait and see about that. By the time we get through to September, we are moving into peak hurricane season, of course, so we'd expect things to start picking up there, probably, as we come towards the end of August and into early September. Okay, so a cool down is on the way, definitely, for those midwestern and northern states for a while, but then probably turning hotter again later on in the month. It's come towards like the final week, 10 days, month, it probably turns hotter once again. And out in the west, of course, it never cools down there. In west and southwest, it will remain very, very hot. Right, if you enjoyed the video, then please give us a like, let us know in the comments what you think, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We'll be back with the next USA update on Thursday. That's all for now, though, and thanks for watching.